Robert Scheinfeld here, and welcome to the Dynamite the Box blog. This is the first in a series of short, concise videos that are designed to introduce you to the foundation on which everything else that you'll see on this blog rests. There will be a series of brief videos, and then there will be a much longer multimedia presentation available to you that you'll find a link to beneath this video screen if you decide that you'd like to go more deeply. And there are other resources on this site that you can find on this page or by going up to the top and clicking on resources that will enable you to go as deep as you want to go into what I'm going to begin sharing with you here. What I want to share with you first is a context in which everything rests, and to give you an idea of why you might want to pay special attention to this blog and the resources that are available through it, even if you find it hard to believe, you find it crazy, you find it woo-woo, out there, difficult to believe or accept, whatever you might want to language it as. And the whole story began for me when I was 12. You see, I grew up in a family with an extraordinary grandfather. His name was Aaron Scheinfeld, and you can see a picture of him on your screen right now. Now, my grandfather took a very simple idea and turned it into one of the world's largest and most successful businesses, Manpower, the world's largest temporary help service, which is currently generating somewhere around, at the time of this recording, $18 billion in sales, and is a Fortune 150 company. Now, growing up in this family with that kind of an extraordinary international success story and the wealth and opportunities and other things that came with it was an interesting experience. And most interesting to me as a kid was that there were these rumblings in the family, that there was something unusual behind this gigantic success story and this extraordinary Renaissance man that was my grandfather, Aaron Scheinfeld. And so, being the kind of kid that drives most parents crazy, that's always in your face, why, what about this, I want to know about that, curious, I kept bugging my grandfather when I became aware of these rumblings. You know, what's this mystery? What's the secret to your success? And he kept putting me off for just about a year, until the extended family was gathered in a small town in Switzerland called Cron to celebrate his 70th birthday. And on this trip, he came up to me and he said, "You've been bugging me, and so I'd like to tell you some of the things that you've been asking me about." And he proceeded to talk to me about the fact that there's the visible world and there's the invisible world, and that most people think that the power is in the visible world, but the real power is in the invisible world. And he said, everything that I've been able to achieve, all has come from the fact that I understood how to map out and tap power sources in this invisible world in order to create things in the visible world. And he said, now, as you grow up, because remember, I was 12 at the time, you're going to hear about things like the unconscious mind and the subconscious mind and other things that appear to be talking about this invisible world that I'm talking about. But I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about something completely different that very few people know about, and an even fewer number talk about if they do know about it. And so he began to talk to me about this stuff and how he had applied it to business and such. Now, I was a 12-year-old kid, so I didn't get all of this, but I held him in such high esteem and awe, really, that it went in. And it created something of an obsession for me growing up to be able to map out myself these invisible world and the power sources that are available there and how I could apply it to business and money and career and achieving what I wanted in life and creating and carving out and living what I call the ultimate lifestyle. Now, shortly thereafter, several months later, my grandfather died. And so the conversations that we had about the invisible world and the power sources and how he applied it to build Manpower and go through tough times as they were building and everything else really amounted to something of a gigantic tease. But it led me to go on what I now call the treasure hunt of the century, to try and figure out and put meat on the bones of what he teased me with so long ago in my life, and led to an extraordinary journey that culminated in what I call the busting loose or the phase 2 work, which is what this blog is all about.